Warning, the following broadcast, starring 2 of the 5 more uneducated members of the mediocre chart racing pop rock band Massive Wagons, may contain swearing. We apologise if it causes offence. All opinions are our own.
Boom! What was that? You dropping
Don't
your
know.
wallet?
I feel every time these podcasts start, I feel like I need to make some sort of noise straight away. I don't know why.
Oh, you! Pay attention! What are you doing?
That's it. It's probably that.
Grab people's attention.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's well, I never get a word in my own house, so maybe.
Oh well, you know, mate. Hey, if you want me to back out of this one, you just want to just vent.
No,
feel free. You know, say what you want. I'm not going to interrupt you.
Well,
anyway, you can say what you want. I mean, I won't interrupt what you're saying.
Well, no,
it's quite all right. You know, anything you want to say, you just.
Very good, very good. No, well, you know, it's the Easter holidays, and I know you've still been in and you've still been working and stuff. I've had, you know, not had to, but you know, I've chosen to spend some time with the family, and like honestly, a couple of days of.
You trying to get back to the office?
Kids just pecking your head. Honestly, me and Nicola, we're both kind of feeling this at the minute. I don't know why. Just don't stop talking. They just like the 2 eldest. They just bloody don't stop talking at all.
Well, Lila's 6, so she's somewhere in the middle, and she's well, we've had her. She's been in here, been maximising the old child labour thing. Yeah. She's been doing work. She's been grafting. Yeah. But yeah, I feel sorry for kids. Like when they're when it's school holidays and they're that age. When I can't remember being that was that long ago. Being that age, so you can't really send them out to play with their mates. You know, it's not this sort of done thing, and you got to entertain them yourself, and they just require. They're like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do on board? What can I do? Why do you do this? I don't want to do that. I want to do this. And it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And you're trying to work and the stuff. It's not
well,
fair.
That's it. And I haven't been trying really. I've done a little bit, but like, you know, I kind of learned that a few years ago when with Scott. You know, he was like sort of I think it was in like lockdown. It was about sort of 18 months, 2 years old, and I had to crack on. You know. Nicola and Mrs. She was working full time, and like doing this, you're able to kind of it's a kind of a job,
bit of a balancing act
that you're kind of able to bring. You know, you're kind of able to involve them, you know, a little bit. But then there are times when it's stressful, and you are neglecting them, really. You know, not neglecting them, but you know, it's that kind of just busy yourself. I'm doing stuff, but I kind of learned now that it's like, well, when it's if I've got the kids, just have to just. Being
for the good of everybody's sanity.
Yeah,
it's best, isn't it?
Just
one or the other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I know what you mean. Yeah,
when possible. But
unless you got a pile of tote bags to fill, then get them down here.
Yeah.
Get them, make yourself useful.
What was Lila doing? She was the lanyards, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was clipping. Yesterday we had a clip in the lanyards on the passes, and today she was putting the lanyards and the programs and the flyers in each of the tote bags. Yeah, so.
That's good.
Paid her 20 quid.
Well, fair enough.
I felt terrible not doing it.
Blimey. Yeah, so she was...
Anyway,
yeah, well...
If there's anyone watching from Child Services, I appreciate you don't come back and knocking my door down.
And if anyone gets 5 programmes in a bag...
you know, lucky you. I suppose.
No, that's good. No, they like a task, don't they?
They do, yeah.
Get down that mine.
They like to be kept busy. Well, I can't wait till she's old enough to handle a kettle.
Well, yeah.
That's what I'm waiting for.
Oh, I turned around the other day. I've got a newborn baby. Turned around the other day. I was in the kitchen, and baby was in the bouncer, and I was washing up or whatever. Turn around, the baby's gone. Gone from the bouncer.
Phoebe. Did you immediately go like that? Yes.
It was one of them. I was
Did you go? No.
Yeah. It was a strange feeling. It was like that I had a sort of second really doubting myself whether that I'd even had him in there in the first place.
Right.
But no, it turns out Phoebe had just come in and picked him up, taken him
stealthily come in without you even seeing.
Well, like I think I was in my own little world, you know. I quite like washing up. Even though we got a dishwasher, I quite like
You what?
Yeah.
See episode 7.
Is it 7? Episode 7. We have talked about this. We have talked about this back in there.
I mean, the similar thing happened to me today. I know we're absolutely waffling on, aren't we? But not the same, but very similar. I was staring out my kitchen window, right, and I was staring at my garden. I was staring at something right at the back of the garden, and it was right there, right. And I was staring at it. I was going, there's an old rusty bush bike at the top of my garden. I was staring at it, and I was thinking something. And then about a foot to the left, I hadn't even seen it. I didn't even know it was there. I don't even own a cat. It was a giant black and white cat sat right there, and it was like it had appeared out of thin air, and I glanced at it and absolutely shit myself.
just a cat.
I was like, Well, it's like that. You know, this sits perfectly still and stare at you like that. He was just gawping at me. I hadn't even seen it, and it was like there.
Yeah.
Absolutely flipping at the roof. I did. So
Yeah.
where did you come from? Yeah, creepy little
You
bastard.
blink and it's like 5 foot closer to you.
Yeah, it's exactly what it was. Yeah. It's on your windowsill. Get out of my garden.
You know, I don't know. I had a similar encounter with an owl today, actually. I didn't jump.
I've got a funny owl story if we've got time. Go on.
Well, to be honest, now I was at like a safari. No, it wasn't. Can you call it a safari park? It's like a small zoo.
Poaching?
Anyway. Yeah, I was poaching. Yeah. Anyway, but like I was looking for this sort of like there's this enclosure.
Look around when the baby's
I'm
gone.
looking in and I'm like, and I'm like, what animal am I supposed to be looking at here? And it just looks completely empty. And then just sort of like out of the corner of my eye, there was this massive, giant snow owl.
Like, wow, right.
Sat like
It's not a tiny thing then.
No, it was huge,
Bloody hell.
and it was just totally blended in with like the rock it was sitting on or whatever.
Gawping at you.
And it was like about 3 yards from my face. And I just
Flipping
like,
yeah,
there
hello
it is,
there. All right.
Well, they're amazing animals. Like, go on, what's your owl story? Because it's bound to be better than that.
I don't know whether it is really. Years ago, I was in my mate's car. I might have told you this story. And they were bombing down some back lanes. And it's late at night. And then he saw something sat in the middle of the road. And what the hell's that? I thought it was a big rock. So I'll get out and move it so nobody else crashes into it. And it was an owl, a baby owl, sat in the middle of the road.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So he thought, what am I going to do here? How do I get it out? I don't know. You don't know what to do, do you? How do you do? You can't kick it out the road, can you? So he thought, all right, I'll pick it up. And he picked it up and he fucking picked it up and it just went whoosh right in his hand. Ah!
The claws?
Yeah, well, it's talons, yeah. Grabbed hold of his arm, he shit himself, and then he like rugby balled it into the hedge. He didn't know what to do with it. He's like,
Hedgewig.
he just had to throw it, and he just sort of launched this owl, and it went into the field like or something. I don't know if it was all right. I don't know, but it was a natural reaction, I think.
Yeah, well, if it was lying in the road, that's probably...
It
not
fell. It
the
was
sign,
massive
is it?
trees. I think it obviously tried flying. It'd flown out the tree and maybe landed on the road or fell out the road.
Such weird animals, owls.
Terrifying,
I
aren't
think
they?
it's because their eyes point forward, and not many. Well, certainly not many birds. I can think of do that. And
They've got like a human face thing about them.
Yeah.
Didn't they not used to think years ago that owls were the souls of dead people? Like, I'm talking a long time ago, like barn owls and stuff. They used to think they were souls because they had a round face. They looked a bit like. Google it.
Still a widely held belief in Cumbria.
Hoity-hoy.
It's places in Cumbria.
Yeah. Probably is,
Sorry,
right, to be honest.
sorry, Cumbrians.
Sorry, Millham. Not Millham.
It was either Cumbria or Yorkshire, and I went Cumbria. Sorry.
Well, we're closer to Yorkshire.
What were we
obviously.
even going to talk about today, anyway? Because we are just
Owls.
descending into absolute fucking bollocks.
Waffle.
But yeah, so Triggered Podcast. Yeah, this is we're Massive Wagons. We talk about owls and
Yeah, losing your children.
losing your kids and stuff like that.
Slave labour.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
But yeah, we were going to talk about something today, and it
Oh, it's a touchy one. It's a bit of a... it's a little bit of a hot topic at the moment, I think. What do they call it?
nepotism.
I think that sounds like... I had no idea that was a name for it. It sounds like something you go to jail for.
Nepotism.
Doesn't it?
Yeah,
It sounds like you sound like a wrong-un.
You do sound
yeah.
like a wrong one. I mean,
Got done for what? Nepotism?
well,
Dirty bastard.
well, I've heard people being called nepo babies as well. Like this, if you're a nepo baby, it's like you got famous parents or
That's
influential parents.
I read an article about somebody talking about nepo babies, and I'm thinking, what? Oh, I don't even want to read this. It sounds awful. And then it turns out it was just that. I was like, all right.
Nepo babies.
I was like, who was on the committee for deciding the name for that?
Yeah.
It's strange, isn't it?
It's just one of the nepotism. Obviously, if you're ignorant enough to not know what it is, even if you don't know what the word is, nepotism. It's like favoring, giving, favor to your children or family members. So obviously with regards to the music industry, I guess there's a fair few.
We don't. Yeah,
Not naming any names here because we're not having a go at them. We're just saying this is a subject that has kind of cropped up every now and again.
We're not bitter out
Not bitter.
because we don't have famous parents.
No. But it is a strange topic, and I kind of know how I feel about it. But when it comes to music, anyway, because I think
Is it about the parents giving their children, the parents actively seeking out opportunities for their children, or giving them opportunities, or other people in an industry giving certain children more opportunities because of their parents.
Well, this
or
is
both. Excuse
right.
me.
Okay. Well, I think it's just human nature. It's gonna happen. And I think if anybody is honest with themselves, really, why would you not? If you're in a position of influence and you could use that position of influence to help
better
your kids,
children's future. Yeah.
Children's. Why? Come on. Everyone's going to do it, aren't they? Surely.
Yeah, I would say so. It kind of, I suppose it's kind of an instinct, isn't it? It's natural, isn't it? Of course it is.
There was a few there's a few folks kicking about big famous people in very famous bands, some of the biggest bands in the world, with famous parents at the minute, and there's one in particular though, the things they say. It's kind of like, I've got absolutely no problem with the fact that, because I personally think they're very talented and they're very good. However, the way they conduct...
Talking about us then.
Yeah, but the way they conduct themselves, sometimes in interviews and sometimes the things they say, very kind of judgmental, very kind of flippant ways of speaking, particularly about other bands. They're very critical of other bands. And then I sometimes think...
And they don't often... They need to sort of look at where they've come from.
Exactly. I think it's a bit like, hang on, right, well, there was no problem, but now it's almost like, now we can weaponise that, your situation and go, well, hang on a minute, your situation was like that, so...
Yeah, you can't say things about other people and not expect a little bit back, can you? If you're going to say those things, then expect a reaction, yeah.
Yeah, especially when it's relevant as well, yeah, anyway, it's just it's one of them. But it's music at the end of the day. If you're helping your kids develop a music career, so what? What's the big deal? If people don't like it, they don't like it.
It does get up people's noses. It used to get up my nose more because obviously we don't come from any of that kind of background, and we come from no experience really, apart from what we've built up from when we started, because we didn't have any then, and we didn't
absolutely none,
and we didn't have no money backing us or anything. So everything we've done has been built from the ground up really, and it used to piss me off when you used to get. You grafted for years on and going up festival bills, then all of a sudden the band out of nowhere would be headlining. Well, you'd think, maybe we're getting a chance of headlining this year. Then there'll be another band to be headlining for a reason like the dad's famous or whatever. And it used to really get on my wick. I'd say, why is that fair? But at the end of the day, I understand it now. It sells tickets. There's kind of a range of sell tickets. It's marketing, isn't it? Yeah. And you know what? Now it just makes me appreciate more of what we've done, because we've never had that. Where we are is through what we have done. I'm gonna cough in my head off.
I was going to say, you're either about to well up or
yeah, I'm gonna.
No,
but it just makes me think. You know what? I wouldn't change. I'm glad we've never had that back in.
No,
because it's been completely honestly built up.
Exactly, and that backing, if it ever did happen to anybody else, it's frustrating. But if you're good, if you're genuinely good, when this kind of thing happens in music, if an artist gets big or popular, whether or not they have famous parents or not, and they're good, they're still good. They're still good. Take anything of their circumstances out. One example, Adam Levine. Maroon 5.
Oh yeah, who's his famous dad?
I don't know if his parents are famous, but they're quite substantially wealthy. They're not. They're not. They didn't. He didn't struggle anyway.
Right.
But anyway, so opportunities would have been there. But however, whatever you think of the guy, I think he's got a really unique voice.
Yeah. And he's extremely talented, isn't he?
And that first Maroon 5 album was fantastic.
You can't be bitter about these. You can't be bitter about these situations, can you? Which is arguably why a band like Oasis, when they appeared on the scene, became so big and so sort of passionately followed because they came from nothing.
Yeah.
Because they were absolutely just scallywags, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? They came from a council estate, whatever. Their parents had done nothing. They had no money.
No.
And they were just like lads.
Well, they created a movement, didn't they? Really,
And that's why I think, one of the big reasons.
Yeah, yeah. It would not have been the same. Maybe it's a British thing. I think
Maybe.
Brits care more about that kind of thing.
The underdog.
The underdog. Yeah.
I think, when it happens, but it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen very often because it's harder to take. It's harder to take something, a product with nothing going for it, but no sides, than it is to take something that has backing or a name linked to it and market it and sell it, and it to become something
Well,
big.
that's it. I mean, look at again. I said I'm not going to name names. I'm naming names now, but
going for it. Yeah.
In a positive way. Here
we go.
Wolfgang Van Halen.
All right. Yeah. Well, yeah.
You know who his dad was? Yeah.
Clint Eastwood.
That's it.
Eddie Murphy.
He's unbelievably talented guy, and he's out there forging his own way ahead. And I know he gets a bit of backlash as well. He's like, well, you shouldn't go around calling yourself Wolfgang Van Halen.
I saw that.
Carrying, getting.
That's my fucking name,
Trying
dude.
to get by on your dad's, trying to get by on your famous dad and uncle's name. It's like, that's my bloody name. What do you want me to bloody
That
call
was a tweet,
myself?
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant that.
But
That's my fucking name, man. That's not what I can do about it.
I think he's had that quite a bit though.
Has he? People thinking he's just using his relative's name to.
I have no idea. I really don't know.
Hilarious. That is hilarious.
And he doesn't anyway. It's Mammoth, isn't it? That's the name.
That's the name of the band. Yeah.
So that's just
But
bollocks.
before his yeah, he's been doing stuff for a long time, hasn't he? He's been playing a long time, hasn't he?
I know. I think there's a few bitter folks about because I don't know when it was, but when Michael Anthony left the band and was kind of replaced by Wolfgang Van Halen,
right?
And that's it's not a good look, is it? It's kind of like let's keep it more in the family. But whatever. That's it. I mean, the band have way past the prime at that point.
I mean, nobody seemed bothered when my dad got me a job at Thursby's.
Driving the wagons.
Driving wagons.
I know. But how is it any different to that? No,
that's it, innit?
Personally, in my family, I know of examples where, where similar things have happened. We're not talking music, and we're not talking giant opportunities here, but it does happen.
A foot in the door is a foot in the door. If the next man on the street has gone for an interview and you've gone for an interview and your dad's there or your mum works there and you've got the job and they haven't, well,
exactly,
it's the same issue, isn't it?
Mm. Yeah,
I think it's a little bit. I just think the music industry is a bit more sensitive because there's a bit more at stake, isn't there? In the, there's not a lot. People perceive it as being there's not a lot of room for us all. You're taking opportunities away from other bands that maybe you feel are a bit more deserving.
Well, you know what? That's kind of right, but.
Or you're being fast tracked in some way.
The way I look at music, and this is a very hippie-ish kind of outlook. You're writing songs. You're creating something out of thin air. It doesn't require anything really, to be creative. The basics of equipment and whatever. But anybody could potentially write a number one hit and a massive song. Anyone could do that. Literally anybody.
We can.
But not me and him apparently.
No.
But it's like that. Whether your parents are famous or what, you still can do that. Anyone could do that.
Yeah.
Where it becomes problematic, and I think maybe a little more attention is needed on an ethical point of view, is in things like politics, where I know, but where it's like real. I think that's where the real nepotism kind of lies, and where it is, dangerous and maybe a little bit insidious. You only have to look at that bloody. There's that picture of the, and I'm not going to go bashing over any one party or whatever.
No, on this channel anyway. That's a different channel.
Else.
You pay for that one.
But there's this picture of back in Eton or wherever. You must have seen it, and you've got like 6 or 7 of the then government. This is about 7 or 8 years ago. Cabinet members, high front bench, cabinet members, all sat there, and they're all stood there with the cravats on, and they're all in the same, what do you call it? The same alma mater or whatever,
right.
all that Eton bollocks. I went to Oxford
Gryffindor.
myself. Yeah, Gryffindor, yeah. they're all stood there with the wands and the brooms and whatever, and it's like, how has that happened? These people have known each other since they were teenagers.
All right, yeah.
And now they're all of them running the country. That's the business secretary. That's the transport secretary. That's the prime minister.
Crazy. I have seen
that's
that picture.
The
Now you
chancellor of
mention it.
you know, and it's like
Boris is in that picture, I think.
yeah,
Isn't he?
I was trying not to mention any names, but
fucking
you could deduce it.
Fophead
But
wanker.
yeah, but yeah, and it's like that's wrong. That is so wrong. And don't tell me that nepotism isn't involved in that. You know,
Absolutely.
it's just, and that is where it's a problem in my book.
Not in music.
And that, well, it's a grand. I'm looking at the big picture here.
No, you're right. I agree.
So I'm not
It's
really
dangerous, isn't it? It's
I'm not really
horrible.
going to whinge that, you know, Lily Allen's dad or whatever was that bloody actor. You know, it's like, so what? You know.
Yeah.
But whereas you can look at, you know, instances in things where it does matter a lot more.
It really, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I agree. I genuinely hadn't thought of that. I hadn't really thought of it like that. That's what we should be more worried about, really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, not who's who's playing on the festival lineup ahead of you.
No. But I get what you're saying.
Well,
and in the moment, you know, when we have experienced that kind of thing from a band point of view,
it does piss you off.
It does, yeah.
Well, it doesn't anymore. I don't care, but it used to,
Yeah.
definitely. And I can see why it would. But yeah, definitely in politics. Yeah, that's... Well, you see all the time, don't you, in American politics, son of this guy and son of that guy is... And it's just like, oh my God, the whole families are into it. They're all involved, aren't they?
You know what made me laugh? You know, America, land of the free, where anyone can be president. You could be born anywhere. You could be born in the slums. And what was it? That 10 years ago, the presidential election campaign was a multi-billionaire Donald Trump and the wife of an ex-president.
Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. And it's like, oh yeah, anyone can be president. Aye.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, sickening, isn't it?
Maybe things are different now than they used to be, but I don't know.
Bring back Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan.
He was an actor, wasn't he?
He was, yeah, I think he was a bit, yeah.
He was the president when I was a kid. I seem to remember.
Ronald Reagan.
All right.
Wasn't that Lincoln?
Hey! Fuck off.
7 years ago.
You asshole.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Ronald Reagan. He used to be an actor, didn't he? Yeah.
Ronald Reagan did, yeah.
Topic of it.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what my point.
But yeah, no, let us know what you think about it. It's an interesting subject. And it's funny that the music business is the one that has been kicking up the fuss about it. Really, that's the only place I've really, well, personally, I've seen a few articles about it and I've read a bit about it. It has just been about in the music business, really, the music world. Maybe it was just a bunch of wet wipes.
Yeah,
bunch of touchy sorts that are bothered about these things.
Probably, but then, like I said, like I'm kind of already just sort of saying the same thing, but in a different way. You know, music is like, if people don't like it, then they don't buy it or they don't come to watch you. You know, but if you are put in a position of power through, you know, nothing to do with your qualifications or anything like that, but you've been fast tracked because of favors within the family, then that's wrong on a different level, isn't it? Because, you know, whether people like you or not, you could still have all this influence to change things for worse, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. Yeah.
There you go.
So yeah. But when we're rich and famous, you can rest assured I'm not going to give our kids any help whatsoever. They're little shits.
No, absolutely not. No, still have a flipping packing tote bags and
Packing tote bags, yeah.
To a child.
Now, so there you go. Yeah, let us know. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, let us know what you reckon. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Absolutely, like you said, often as well. Well, we find that rock fans, music fans, are not stupid. Even if you get those opportunities, if it's no good, it's no good, is it? People won't go and watch you.
No, exactly.
It can be shite.
Yeah, it's a sort of self-regulating.
You still have to be good.
Yeah, exactly. You still have to be good. Whereas politicians, bosses, you know, company CEOs, whatever.
They don't necessarily have to be good, do they? They get jobs, get paid, get binned, and then seemingly get paid for the rest of their lives. Or
honestly, to be honest, I mean, my missus, she experienced this firsthand. Really, she worked for a company, and then the sons of one of the founders sort of became in charge, and then basically, it all kind of fell apart. And he kind of bypassed people that had worked there for 15, 20 years.
He became in charge.
And he became in charge.
Fucked the job up.
And messed it up. And
what happens, isn't it?
It's just like, I don't know. Maybe that's irresponsible. More irresponsible of the.
They say, don't they? They're saying, I can't remember what they say. It was something about generations. It takes one person to build up, one generation to build up a successful business, and then within 2 generations it's gone.
It's gone and destroyed.
It's destroyed, isn't it? Because they've been brought up. The guy building it, or the lady building it up, has had nothing and built it up on hard work, dedication, and graft, because they've had nothing above. They've been brought up on nothing, then they hand it down to the kids who have had everything, and they just don't. They just don't value it and don't know the work.
Isn't it like the first? Yeah, I think I can't remember what the word in it.
Bend it, and it's
they
gone.
build it, then the second generation kind of like plateaus it, and then the third generation tanks it.
Wipe it out.
Yeah,
something like that. So be warned.
Yeah.
Don't leave it to your kids. Leave it to me.
Yeah.
If you've got any spare MILF floating around.
Spare MILF?
Yeah.
MILF?
Any MILFs floating around?
You've got spare MILF floating around.
Millions.
Got a spare MILF floating around.
Not say that. You got a spare MILF floating around. Send her around.
Time to wrap up, I think.
Absolutely.
But we're off on tour next week, so we'll probably. I'm going to take all this podcast guff. We won't take the takeaway set.
It actually looks like a taxi rank, actually, as well.
It does.
It does, doesn't it? It looks like a ropey taxi rank in Markham.
You need a little sort of business card holder.
Yeah, they're like A to B taxis or whatever.
But yes, like and subscribe, all that.
Yeah, and let us know what you think of Nepotism.
Yeah.
An interesting one.
It is.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next week.
Triggered by my band or just fans of half hits?